Did you ever get a detention? And if so, why? Hey guys, Archie here, a second year medical student. And this video is basically me going through your questions to thank you so much for bringing me to our 1,000 subscribers. I know this video is quite late because I've already hit like 1.5K, but I got there. All right, so let's basically go through a few of these. What camera lens setup do you use for your videos? Okay, so basically I've got a Canon M50, a Rode Video Mic Pro. I've got some lights, as you can see, and I got a mic stand, an audio interface, and then a cable that goes into my Mac. Let me know if you want a video on that. How much time do you work in a day? Basically, if I haven't scheduled anything like relaxing or meeting friends or sleeping or anything like eating or something like that, I'll basically just be working. And that's because work to me really feels like play. Do a behind the scenes video? Maybe. I don't really do much besides just like set up everything. What tips would you give to someone wanting to start YouTube, I'm assuming? Basically, I would say just you need to put out the reps, which is basically just making video after video after video. And a good way of doing that is just making a few videos and just making them unlisted on your channel, because it might be a barrier for you to actually press publish. And that would just be a good way to level up all your skills before you make that first video. More real-time studies with me. I'll probably do that when I have exams. How long does it take to produce videos? I'd probably say about 8 hours. Are your parents strict? Not really. I kind of just work for whatever I want to do because that's where I want to see myself in the future. How many languages do you speak and what are they? One, just English. How's med school treating you? Pretty good. Yeah, I'm really excited for what's in store next year. That should be pretty exciting with all the stuff we go into. Did you have any moments where you felt like giving up or it was too much? I'd basically say in year 10, I was at this point where I was pretty much at burnout, and that's because I was basically studying more than I was in year 12. Truthfully, how much do you rate yourself? That's a trick question. If you had to choose a specialty now, what would it be? I basically have no idea because I haven't actually done much medicine itself in first year, but I'm excited to see what I can get into in the future years. And if I really chose one, I basically say it's cardiology, just because there's a bit of physics in it. If not medicine, what would you have studied? So basically, I did a few university topics in year 12, just to test out if computer science and engineering would be something that I wanted to actually pursue over medicine. And I basically found that I could basically continue to do computer science and stuff just at home without having to have the degree. So that's what I did. So I basically just do it here and there when I have some off time. What would you tell your younger self 5 years ago? Basically, I say learn how to actually learn, which is there's all this science that tells you how you can go about being more efficient and productive with the time that you actually spend. And particularly for me, being a student, there's like a lot of learning. So as much as I can reduce that, that's the better. How many parties did you go to during your high school years and how did you plan them? I'd say pretty much I went to more parties as the years went on, and basically it's because people started to self-host. But I'd say in year 12 it peaked. That's when I went to the most parties. And I didn't really kind of plan them. I just got invited to them and I went to them. And then I've just moved my study around that. What do you prefer to study? I find it pretty good to study here, but when I'm not, I prefer to study at the university libraries or something like that. What's your ethnicity? I am half Australian and half Filipino. How many universities are you enrolled in? A few. Tell us more about you. What do you enjoy? I enjoy spending time with friends and family. That's probably the thing that I like to prioritize the most. I like playing video games and I probably like to work a lot. How often did you study in year 12? So basically it's just the same thing about how I like to work a lot. If I had some free time that I didn't actually schedule in some time to relax or like sleep or eat or spend time with family and friends and things like that, then I would just be studying. So basically studying was the lowest priority for me. Biggest challenges? I would say probably trying to figure out a system that works the best for me and then I can adapt the best to like everything that pops up in life so they can just get all the work that I want done and be able to keep up with everything else. Best tips for growth. I basically say the whole thing about growth mindset, right? If you haven't heard about that before, it's definitely the best thing that you can do for yourself in whatever pathway you want to go. What is your secret to acquiring subscribers and a genuine following? I don't think I have a particular secret, but I'm really surprised about how many subscribers I've got in these past few months. I'd basically say it's just the whole thing. You got to keep putting videos out there and then eventually you might gain some traction, and that's what I'm hoping to do. What is the #1 piece of advice that you give a year 12 for 2021? Again, same thing, learn how to learn. Okay, how do you learn and then study for maths? So basically I spend most of my time, like maybe 70%, studying and learning and understanding the concepts and where they come from. And basically understanding them like inside out so that I can actually be able to use this in all the contexts that I think it can apply in. Then I spend my time like studying and doing all the practice questions and everything like that, but my learning doesn't come from the practice questions. Knowing why you're actually learning this maths equation and how it's relevant is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself. Any good reads on productivity? I struggle with reading, so I haven't really read some good books on productivity, but Make It Stick is a good one. Admission results are out January 15. What if I don't get into med? I actually have a video that comments on this slightly, but let me know if you want me to make a proper video on this. Flow or pomodoro, and why? Both. So the Flinders, I have a video on that. So basically it gets rid of the disadvantage of pomodoro, which stops you from getting into a flow state because you stop abruptly. But if you combine them together, then you can just go until your flow state ends and then you can have your break. Make sure to check out that video. What has challenged you the most in your YouTube journey so far? I'd basically just say keeping consistent, because there's a few weeks definitely where it's been hard to keep it up. MBBS or MD? MD. Bro, how is first year med gonna be? It's gonna be fun. How did you always stay focused and motivated during school to study for med? Basically, you've answered my question. The motivation was that I wanted to get into med, and I know that required a lot of work, but not only that, I needed to strategize in the way that I could maximize my chances to get in. How do you combat such a highly saturated market as a medic YouTuber, and are you diversifying away? That's actually a really good question. But I don't think that like it's highly saturated. There's more than enough space for people like me. Like I don't really think there's that many Australian YouTubers. There's like Sebastian Piri, for example. But hopefully there's an opportunity for me to fit through. But so far it's been pretty good and I haven't had much issue with it. So I wouldn't really think about it as combating it. Does Flinders consider one to be 18 or older when applying to medicine? I honestly don't know. I think you should give them a call. That'd be probably a little bit better from me commenting on it, but I don't think it's much of an issue. Did you ever get a detention? And if so, why? I'd never got a specific detention itself, but I did have a few times where I was told to stay back in class because I was just like misbehaving or messing around or something. Often it was just like I was on YouTube when I wasn't listening. Okay, so that's all the questions that you guys sent through. Thank you so much for those who sent questions through. And I'm extremely grateful and thankful for you guys for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers in just these months that I've had. It's actually been something that I wasn't expecting. I was honestly expecting to put at least a year into this before I could get 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so if you have any more questions, feel free to send them through on DMs and I'm happy to have a chat. All right, thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.